Okay, officially I'm recording. Hello, everybody. Today is September 23rd. Fall is with us on the Northern Hemisphere. Spring is in the Southern Hemisphere. This is the SIG API Machinery meeting. We have a number of topics today, and we are going to get to them so we can make a good use of the time. The first topic, I believe, is from David Ashpole, who is here in the call, and I will give it to him.
Yeah, not too much, unless people have questions. I've been working on the implementation for the tracing cap. I mostly just want to ping this before it gets too close to the cap deadline. If you have questions now, I can answer them. Otherwise, this is just a request for comment. This is something we looked at in 119, but weren't able to resolve before the deadline. So I'm trying to bring it up before the cap deadline gets too close.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. Is it still the same? The last state I saw it in, I think you had changed it to just be about like request paths and not include changes to controllers, or?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. Which I think was okay, but I forget what the state was.
We were looking into the egress selector stuff and making sure that that worked. And you asked for some more time to look at it since it adds a new egress to the API server. I think you also might have wanted David to take a look. I think you commented something like that. I think it just needed more time last release. But
oh, right, because now API server will call out to the monitoring, the collection point, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, okay, that's definitely worth. I'm glad I thought of that. That's definitely worth considering. Okay, I'm pretty busy. You may need to aggressively nag me on Slack.
Okay, I can do that. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, it might also be good just to send a note to the API Machinery mailing list.
Okay.
Yeah, just that you're saying is being API server calling out to a. I mean, I guess people don't have to enable it, right? But if they do enable it, then API server will call out to a new thing. So
that's
probably a good thing to make sure nobody's surprised about.
Yep.
When is the deadline for enhancements for 120? How much time do we have?
I forget the exact date. I thought it was October 6th or October 12th or something like that.
Okay.
October 6th is the final date.
Okay.
Okay, so we still have some time. Very good. Okay, we'll make sure you can ping me also if nobody's paying attention, David, and I will try to find the people to take a look at it.
All right, thanks.
Very good. Moving on, JQ, Michael, are you on the call?
Yeah, I am, but Abhinav is also on the call, and Abhinav, do you want to raise a question, or do you want me to?
With whom, sorry?
Oh, so we have another member on the call. I don't know if he wants to present the question, or yeah. I can go.
Yeah. Hey. So hi. So I just had a question about like. So we have a lot of clusters that have like loads of pods, and some of the clusters which have like less number of pods, but having a very large amount of data in their pod spec. So what happens is like if we have a controller which is having a memory limit that is let's say 500 MB or 1 GB, which is kind of limited, but so with the client door cache, what happens is like we cache each and every pod object in the memory. So we run into these memory limits. So right now what workaround we have done is like we have written a custom controller in which we are stripping down the pod object and keeping only the required details in our cache instead of storing everything. And we are using the pagination to basically we are basically getting the pagination output and stripping down the pod object before sending it to like the paginator aggregator. So basically we are doing a lot of workarounds to get around this problem of caching all the details of the pod spec. So what would you recommend is the right way to handle this kind of a problem where we want to just keep the limited number of details in the pod spec?
I think if you want just the namespace and name, then you're doing the right thing. If you don't mind keeping all the metadata, we do offer the metadata only content type. And you can look at the garbage collector in Tree to see how to use that.
Okay.
And Yu says there's a metadata informer in the chat. We can. I looked at the issue briefly here, and it does sound like something that some controllers would want. So I'm actually going to tag Solly to see if this would make sense in like the controller runtime or queue builder or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Would it be a wanted API feature to only request fields that you want? Like some APIs offer that. You select which fields you want, and you get an impartial object.
So that's yeah. Selecting requesting specific fields is not something we offer, and it would kind of be a big deal. So I don't see it happening. I wouldn't say we're like against it or anything. It's just it hasn't. We haven't had the horde of users with pitchforks and stuff haven't shown up demanding that feature yet. I think there's probably I'm sure that there have been GitHub issues requesting it. There just hasn't been a critical mass, and it is difficult. So it hasn't happened.
I would also say that metadata, or potentially even further restricting to namespace and name, is probably a bigger bang for the buck, because it would, at least namespace and name, would eliminate any potential confidential content while still letting people see what's there. We've wanted that in the past, and then eventually decided, you know what, we can just afford the memory to put all in.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool if there was a list that was extremely lightweight, just namespace and name of every object. That'd be pretty awesome.
Thanks, Daniel. Do you mind link us to the metadata implementation so that we can track?
Yeah, I'll tag in the notes here in a second.
Thank you.
Very good. Looks like it's something that we can follow up on the issue itself. Thank you, Daniel, for tagging Solly, and everybody for commenting. Finally, thank you, David Eads, for joining. We've been moving the order of the items. I think we can go to the main item that we had today, which is the pre-GA features. I know you have a document. Do you want me to present it here and link it?
I think so. I think we are ready for that.
Okay.
There's still some open questions and discussion on the doc, but it's moving right along. So we were trying to look and assess what features we still have in flight that need to be worked, and either, in some cases, you decide to eliminate an alpha feature, or you indicate how you're going to keep moving forward. So if we look at the pre-GA features, you can see the list that we have. I don't think people are going to be hugely surprised by what's here because we talk about it pretty frequently. Server-side apply is a big one. It's been progressing consistently. Priority and fairness has also been progressing consistently. More improvements were made in 1.19, but we aren't going to rush something to beta until we're confident that it actually does what we want. The allow insecure backend proxy, it's code that we own, but that was heavily auth dependent. That one's probably going to move forward to GA. API response compression is one people probably never even heard of. I'm pretty sure it was broken when we merged it, and it never moved forward. No one was inspired enough to try to carry it forward. We're probably just going to go ahead and kill that one. The API list chunking, that might be Clayton's gift to me. I think practically it's GA at this point. It's worked very well, but I need to go back through and check the existing criteria. I think the other ones on the list, at least the next couple, Daniel might recognize more.
Yeah, I just pinged Chow about the remaining item count. He actually thinks it's beta, and that there's no blockers in moving it to GA. So that probably just needs a little bit of work. I also think that the storage version hash can probably be promoted to GA. It just hasn't been done.
Storage version hash is going to be replaced by the API, right?
Oh, okay.
We have a
so are we going to remove it then?
I don't remember what our decision was. I'll check the cap for the API.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we should figure that out. Remove self-link. I know Wojciech is super motivated about that, so I expect that to make progress. In fact, I'm pretty sure I reviewed a change that actually implements it.
I reviewed the KEP and was happy with it. I think I merged his KEP for beta requirements. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure maybe it was implemented in alpha, but then when he turned it on by default, like a bunch of tests were broken, so he fixed the tests. I'm pretty sure I reviewed that.
Okay.
Selector index, I don't actually, that's not jogging my memory. What is the selector index doing?
It was the faster way to do a field selector and label selector. It was like a pre-computed hash.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I think it's done and working, but yeah, if it just went beta, I think we can definitely wait another release to get it GA.
I'd like to. Some storage cache problems have been latent, and I'd like to give it a little bit more soak time before saying we're done.
Yeah, I recall making a few rounds on that one, and I think it was in a pretty good state when it merged.
Mm-hmm. I guess warning headers is me and Jordan. We got it in a 1.19. I need to go double check the promotion criteria. The big ones were the admission webhooks, but those got done in 1.19. And I know he has some work where he wants to standardize a way to do fields. But I'm actually pretty happy with the feedback we're getting back from it already. I'd probably be willing to take this one to GA in either 120 or 121.
Yeah, and I think Jordan's motivated. So, and then at the end here are two things that I ran across that don't technically have KEPs. One is this controller manager component config. There's a long issue with a lot of people asking about a KEP, and like I think one attempt that didn't go anywhere. So I recommended just closing that and wait for a owner to show up and be motivated. So
I agree with that. That's the same one I remember was Luxus, and then Stefan had a few comments, but there was some interest in like, it'd be cool if we had this, but I don't remember anyone saying this is important enough to me, I'm going to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a long, sad tale of like multiple people talking about it and nothing ever happening.
Maybe you should confirm with Walter before we do it. I know Walter's been looking at a lot of controller manager config related things.
Sure. Yeah, I can double check with Walter if he's not on the call. Oh, I think he may have had some training or something.
That's fine. I mean, I just thinking about other people who might be interested. I would ask Walter, because I've seen he has some PRs in related areas.
I'll add a comment. And then this last one, I didn't write it down very good. I said stop breaking. I should have said stop unintentionally breaking client Go consumers, because sometimes it is intentional and that's good, right? Like we add context. Hopefully everyone, even those on the receiving end of that, believe that it was worth it. But I also feel like we often accidentally break people. And that's super annoying. The only thing I can think of is like a pre-submit test that like lists all the public packages and methods and warns us when they change. That still wouldn't get 100% of the way there, because you could have changes that don't breakage that doesn't show up in the public interface. But anyway, this could use an owner if somebody's interested in helping our users not hate us.
I think I'd want to see some boundaries described before we merge the pre-submit. I do think that there are valid reasons for doing it.
Yeah.
And
yeah. No,
I'm not sure. And I'm not sure that every aspect should be held to the same bar, right? Some are really, really annoying. Others are sort of helper packages where maybe it's better to make this change, and it's not like changing every single client. This is if you happen to be using this feature of I don't know, work queue, something changed. I don't have anything in mind specifically, but like I would feel less bad about changing a work queue constructor than I would about changing.
Yeah. My point isn't to make it completely impossible. My point is to make it visible and conscious. Okay. Right? Like I think if we're going to break users, then someone in a high-level owners file should be looking at that and being like, yeah, this is worth it. Yeah, that's my only thought. But
okay. That makes sense.
At any rate, if nobody signs up to do it, it probably won't happen.
Okay, so is there on this long list? I think there is a part of this which is update for the people in the meeting and future generations. Is there a particular ask that we are having?
I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of what we had. There are a few, and when
I lost David.
Yeah, seems like David lost his connection. Yeah, people should be aware of what these features are and what we're doing. Also, some of these could use some attention, but I think we should make a issue and a checklist, something like that to identify owners. I wouldn't want to limit it to just people on this call. Although if any of you feel attracted to one of these items, by all means, feel free to claim it.
I think as part of what is going on in all the other SIGs and in general in the Kubernetes community, we want to have tracking mechanisms for these features and other features to come to see, the graduation status, the ownership status, if they are making progress or not, etc. So this is probably the first step for that. And then we will put it in a place where it's clearly accessible and public and we will try to keep it up to date. I think that is the intent. And of course, as Daniel was saying, the ones that don't have a clear owner or the ones that may require some help are great opportunities for people in this call and outside of this call to do some work. Okay. Are we good on this one? I think so.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think we lost David. What else? Did we have anything else? So no. Tracing, the question about play and go, the pre-GA features, and if that is everything we had before, the last point is from me. There is a requirement to change the Zoom settings in all the Kubernetes meetings. So I will be working on that probably on Friday. I give you a fair warning because it's a long mailing list and you will be receiving some updates. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to spam anybody, but the only way that can be done based on the current setting that we have is to recreate the meetings. So you will see some meetings canceled and some meetings, recreated. And this is why. It's for the good of the community. I will send an email after it's done, and I think basically will mean that to join meetings in the future, you have to enter a password that I will provide, and I think that's it. We may want to use Zoom in the weekly bug triage Zoom. Maybe I will take this opportunity to change that. We've been using Google Meet, and I think if we use Zoom, we can record them and put them in a regular YouTube playlist, so it's accessible too. So that is the announcement here. Okay, it's almost 11:30. Does anybody have anything else to raise? Now is the time. If not, everybody's free. Not one, not two, not three. Okay, very good. I think that's it for today. I appreciate everybody joining, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.